Every football fan will know that sinking feeling. An opposition player has the ball in your box but is heading nowhere. The defence are perfectly situated. The attacker is being forced into a worse position, and there's almost no chance of a goal being scored. But then it happens. A foot comes in, the attacker stumbles and falls, and the referee points to the penalty spot. These moments highlight the injustice of the penalty kick. From a situation where it seemed impossible that a team could score, they're now in a situation where they're more likely to score than not. And it's these sorts of situations that raise an important question. Are penalties overpowered? With the rise of data analytics in football, we can now show how overpowered penalties are in the modern game. Expected goal models allow us to predict with a degree of certainty the likelihood of scoring chances both from the penalty spot but also from open play. As things stand, the likelihood of scoring a penalty in the Premier League is around 78% or 0.78 expected goals. This means that in around 8 of 10 instances, you would expect a Premier League footballer to score a penalty. Expected goal models can also give us a good idea of how likely teams are to score from open play. Although there are a number of different variables that need to be taken into account when calculating the expected goal value of a chance, the most important factor is shot location. If we use this information to build a base map for expected goals from open play, you'll see that the closer you are to the goal when you take your shot, the more likely you are to score. Notably, the best chances from open play are those closest to the goal, and even they are given an expected goal value of around 0.6 or a likelihood of scoring around 60%, less than the 78% likelihood of scoring a penalty. We can compare this base map with a plot which shows the area where penalties were most likely to be won in the Premier League between 2011 and 2022. And as you can see, penalties are most likely to be won from an area further from the goal than the penalty spot, and to the left-hand side. Matching this location to the expected goal base map puts this location in an area where you might expect to score less than 20% of the time. Such an incident would see an increase in scoring potential of around 60%, meaning that you're around 4 times more likely to score from a penalty than you are from the open play location where the penalty was won. But this increase is only for the most common area where penalty kicks are won. If we're looking at the increase for the average penalty kick, it gets even worse. The Athletic's Jon Muller has shown that in half of the instances where penalty kicks were won in the Premier League between 2011 and 2022, the likelihood of scoring before the penalty was given was less than 6%. On top of this, Muller found that only 1 in 20 possessions that end in a penalty had a better than 19% chance of being scored from the last known ball location. If you win a penalty then, you're almost always improving your chance of scoring by about 4 times or more. And penalties aren't just overpowered in terms of raising a team's likelihood of scoring. They also impact a team's likelihood of winning games. Using the same dataset of Premier League games since 2011-12, Jon Muller was also able to show that over half of all penalty calls change the current result of a game either from drawing to winning or losing to drawing. So are penalties overpowered? Well, undeniably yes. In almost every situation where you win one, you are more likely to score than you were before it was given. And in over half the situations where you win them, the outcome of the game is changed. But although we have better explanations for why penalties are overpowered, criticism of penalty kicks has a long pedigree. Even back in the early 1900s, there were debates about how the rule might have been changed, particularly in America, where there was perhaps less conservatism about the rules of a game that had been developed across the Atlantic Ocean. In 1913, the Philadelphia Inquirer noted that there are many progressives who favour changes in the rules and who are inclined to the belief, when it should be changed notwithstanding, that England and other countries where soccer has been played for a much longer time than it has here have found the rule good enough for them. In the same article, a rule change was submitted by a couple of readers who suggested that the penalty area could be decreased to a semicircle from the outside lines of the goalkeeper's area to a point 18 yards from the goal line. This tradition of penalty area skepticism has continued within the United States. For a period in the 70s in the NASL, and for the first 4 seasons of MLS, both leagues implemented a form of running penalty, which saw penalty takers running towards the goal from the halfway line and attempting to beat the keeper to score. The argument given was that these running penalties were more entertaining than traditional penalty shootouts, but importantly, the odds of scoring a penalty for those 4 early seasons of MLS was around 45%. Higher than the odds of scoring in most situations leading to penalty kicks, but much lower than the 78% likelihood of scoring a penalty in the Premier League. As things stand, the penalty kick is here to stay, but as people start to recognise just how overpowered they are, perhaps we will again see an appetite for a rule change.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic brings you the best sports journalism in the world in a personalised experience, connecting you with the stories and teams that you care about the most. There's coverage of 13 sports, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As, discussions and podcasts. And you can try it now for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.